Hi there, my name is Tyler, and today we're going to be reviewing Squid Game. Honestly, the best Netflix show that I have ever seen come out of Netflix, and it's a Korean one as well. To start with a non-spoiler review, timestamp for spoiler review right here, but I suggest just watching it all the way through because I probably won't retouch on topics. Starting off, the show does not pretend that you're an idiot, and that is probably the strongest feat that this show does that honestly shows don't do anymore. Shows like The Outer Banks treat you like a fool when they zoom in on a specific object that you now know will have some significance in the future. There is no payoff in these shows because you can't feel like you are having inside with the creators, right? You want to feel like you know more than the other people watching it. And this show allows you to do that. It builds the characters up all equally from each other while still keeping Song-woo, who is the Ji-hun. Song-woo is the second main character. Ji-hun is the main character, but everyone else is almost just as important. It follows Ji-hun throughout the entire series, but there's about 6 or 7 other characters that you might care about more than Ji-hun, or you might care about more than me. I really gravitated towards the female character who is probably the female lead, I would say, who is a North Korean refugee. And I really connected with that character and wanted her to go far in the games. Essentially, the premise of the show is that you are a gambler, a sports gambler, who has lots of money in debt for a variety of different reasons, and you sign your life away and get into some trouble to compete in children's games. You have to complete 6 games, and if you do, then you get hundreds of millions of won or billions of won, depending on how many people win. Right. So if you lose that game or disobey the rules, you die. And it's honestly an amazing concept. Not too creative necessarily, but it's just shown so perfectly. You care about every character, and the first episode is great, but I would say the second has to be the strongest. The second and the fifth, I think, because the second one really throws you for a loop and makes you question, like, wait, what is this show actually even about? And I really, really recommend you watch it. I would rate this a 93 out of 100. So the best show I have ever seen on Netflix by far. I can't rate many shows and many things ever really higher than a 93 because there is a couple of things that I didn't really like about it. So let's kind of get into the spoilers now. Now that we kind of have the bases, loaded, and I can, hit the grand slam, I guess. So I take notes, of course, while I watch shows because I like to, I'm starting to do these reviews. And the notes that I have for episode 1, if I can kind of give you a summary of how the show goes. Episode 1 is learn the characters, right? Learn the game. Learn the premise of what's going to take place in the next 8 episodes. Get introduced to Ji-hun and some of the other main characters. Episode 2, subvert expectations, right? They leave the compound. They all vote. And a majority of the people want to end the game. They don't want to play anymore. And they all leave. They all get to just go home to their lives. And they all realize that their lives suck. They're hundreds of millions of won in debt. Their families are sick. They can't get their families from North Korea to South Korea to a better life. They're gonna go to prison for the rest of their lives for stock manipulation and stock fraud. They're homeless or whatever the case may be, or they're caught up in like the mafia. Each character has their own unique story, and we learn about all of these individually and equally in this episode. And then they all go back because they have to. I mean, they kind of have to. Our main character, his mom gets diabetes, and he wants to pay for her treatment. He wants to help her. He wants to help people and be a good contributing person to society, but he's so far deep in the hole, he feels like he has to dig deeper to get out, but that just throws him further. episode 3, they come back and they compete in game 2, right? Because there's 6 games. The storylines keep cross developing, and you start to care about whatever character you might connect with more than somebody else. Who was the main girl? Sabyok. She was definitely my favorite character of the show. I think she had a lot of depth, and they really served her character well. And they incrementally brought her to more and more attention, right? They didn't say, hey, look at Sabyok. She's going to be your main character for this entire show, and you're going to want to focus on her if you want to understand what we're telling you to understand. It doesn't make you do that, and it doesn't make you or assume that you are stupid. And that's what I like about the show. So kind of moving forward, right, there's the side plots. The cop has an interesting storyline, but I didn't really like it. I got to be honest. It kind of looks like they were trying to get more depth within the organization, and for us to learn more about the organization that was putting all these people through this. But I didn't really like the cop's storyline. He was trying to take down this whole ring of murdering people because his brother had gone missing, and he thought that maybe his brother had died in this thing or was still alive, and he was trying to save him. It turns out his brother was running the whole thing, and then kills him towards the end, which he could have survived, to be fair. There's rules, and the rules must be followed. The doctor disobeys the rules, and there's no equality in these games because there has to be fair, because the white elites are gambling on it, right? Something to keep in mind is that they touch on a lot of social, political, and economic conflicts without being politically biased in this show. Some of the ones that I touch on in my notes: sexism, discrimination, North Korean conflict, white elites, poverty inequality. And these are all things that, some people might not feel comfortable talking about or don't even necessarily believe in, but it touches on them in a way that makes you think rather than, preach that sexism is bad, which of course it is, but it talks about how, all the games, they want strong men on the team, but in reality, it's not just about strength that can make you win, even though that is, of course, what's gonna, help you. You can still win with your brain, of course, and some of the challenges were physical, but it was, yeah, whatever. Let's keep moving past the political stuff. The North Korean conflict was also really cool, and that's why I like Sabyok's storyline, and she was awesome. In episode 7, the cop scene is filmed very poorly. They're outside this compound on clearly a remote island off of Korea, I suppose. But the cinematography and the angles and the shooting made it look very amateur compared to the rest of the show, and it took me out. It just took me out of the show. And I just didn't feel like I cared much about the well-being of the cop and who the heck his brother was. I just didn't really care. That's just me, though. Some people I know said that they loved the cop and that he was the coolest person. Ali was a great character. The old man was a great character, especially at the end. The gangster man was kind of annoying because he was so cold-blooded and kind of turned the others into this mob mentality. So yeah, Song-woo, amazing character, and of course, the ending is so good. I don't even want to spoil it in the spoiler part of the review. His mom, unfortunately, I teared up when his mom came on the screen towards the end in episode 8, and Ji-hun's mom as well in episode 8. The ending of the show isn't perfect. It leaves you on a cliffhanger because it's Netflix and they have to, but I think that this could have been just a one kind of limited series, but I think that they might make an episode 2, and if they can, or season 2, not episode 2, but if they can establish a new set of characters or follow up on the characters that are still remaining, I would be interested in watching it, but not really excited to watch it. That being said, I still rate this a 92 or 93 out of 100. Amazing, amazing show that you must go see. That's going to be my one take, spoiler and spoiler-free review on Squid Game. All right, you guys have a good one. Please like this video if you did enjoy and made it to the end. I actually really, really appreciate it because if you found this video entertaining and you like it, then other people might get shown it and they might like it as well, and it really helps me out, and I appreciate it. Subscribe for more movie reviews like this, sit-down talks, not too much edited, nothing flashy, just me talking to you, and you can give me feedback down below, and I'll make sure to reply to everybody. So have a good rest of your day. Watch the show if you haven't, and let me know what you want me to review next. All right, have a good one.